I'm Aaron,
I'm Alex.
and we're two in the booth. Welcome into this week, this post Memorial Day edition of Two in the Booth podcast.
Not to be confused with our favorite weekend in Major League Baseball, which was the week before, which we missed, which is
Which the one that nobody cares about?
Armed Services Weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
The marketing weekend in baseball where everybody and everything turns into camouflage, and you really can't see anything except for the ball flying through the air or hitting the catcher's mitt.
And have we given up? I mean, I did not watch a ton of baseball over the weekend, and I hate to admit that on the podcast, but have we given up on the poppies for Memorial Day? Like usually that.
Nope. They were on the player unis this weekend.
Okay,
On
good.
Memorial Day, they were wearing the poppies. The one thing I will note, I feel like the Navy is very underrepresented for Armed Services Weekend. A lot of camouflage and not a lot of like naval uniforms. You know, like I was at an air show on Monday, saw a lot of camouflage for the Air Force and the Army. Didn't see a lot of camouflage when it came to the Navy.
No.
And I felt like, saw a lot of guys walking around in their whites and their blues. And I'm thinking to myself, man, Armed Services Weekend sure feels a whole lot like a recruiting pitch for the Army and no other branch. So,
Yeah.
Same thing with Coast Guard, Space Force even. How fun would it be to have Aaron Judge walk up to the plate in an astronaut suit? Maybe we need to have a NASA weekend.
Yes, maybe a Space X or whatever they call that. Space Force weekend.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like an
There we go.
intergalactic battle.
Yeah.
And already we've gone off the rails for this week's recording so far. Here's why it's so easy for that to take place, because this week on the podcast, one of the things that we want to do is give airtime to the undesirables, those in Major League Baseball right now who should be up to the task, but are not up to the task thus far.
They're not.
And I've got starting 9, a bullpen duo, and a starter. I limited myself to one starter who, shall we say, my team name, I'm calling them the Rendon Lamones.
Yes.
So batting leadoff, I'm just going to run through these, that they're in position order. And I was like, do we really need to worry about who's hitting fourth if we're dealing with the Rendon Lamones?
Yes.
So batting first, Fernando Tatis Jr. He's hitting a paltry 250, no home runs to this point, and we're past Memorial Day. No home runs for him. 16 RBIs.
Eesh. Well, he does play in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, So there.
Argument fails when Trey Turner comes out there for 3 games, and in one of the 3 games, he hits a home run, and you're like, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s got a little bit more pop in his bat than Trey Turner.
He's now 3 years removed from the juice.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I feel what you're putting. I feel that one. Yeah, that's San Diego, though, is in spite of it, they've played pretty decent ball with him
second
underperforming,
place,
which is, to be commended. So
well, and we're going to be making another trip out to San Diego later in my starting 9. So
there should be a lot of Padres, a lot of Chicago Cubs, and a lot of Detroit Tigers on this list.
So I tried for it to not be the horrible team from like one team. So I tried to be selective.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think the Padres are the only team that shows up twice in my list.
That's really good.
Right.
That's really good. Keep going.
Center field. This guy made the news this last week for telling someone. Well, never mind. Pete Crow Armstrong.
He's on my list.
224, 6 home runs, 56 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And over the last week and a half or two, it's like he's forgotten how to hold a glove and use it.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're struggling at the bat and you're still playing good quality defense. Cody Bellinger could speak to times in his life when he's stunk it up the plate, but been booing his playing time with solid defense. PCA is breaking down in center field defensively, and he's been breaking down at the plate all year. 40-40 kind of guy, and 6 home runs isn't going to cut it to this point in the season.
No, it's not. And can we make a comment really quick just regarding the
incident?
Well, not the incident, but just like the swings that some of these, like the pendulum swings that some of these teams are on right now. Like,
yeah,
teams are really hot one minute and then they're just like frigid cold, and there's no like in between. It seems it's like we're either winning 10 in a row or we're losing 10 in a row, and you're like, that's a hard way to play baseball. And anyway, there's several, and the Cubs are in the middle of one of those schneids right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A Tigers honorable mention for the Schneid right now.
Well, they're not on a Schneid. They're on a something worse. But anyway,
the Phillies were on the Schneid for a while. Yeah, there's other center fielders we could throw in that discussion. I limited myself to Pete Crow Armstrong, and you can definitely tell the frustration's boiling over when he has an interaction with the fan like what he had last week. And just for content purposes, we're not going to rehearse that, but like,
no.
I felt like Major League Baseball should have come down a little bit harsher on him for his comments. But on to left field. In left field, we have everybody's favorite trading card / fantasy baseball guy, the one who was going to carry the Red Sox on his oh so broad shoulders.
Yes,
and he's played all of 30 games so far this year. In those 30 games, he's struck out 33 times, and he's hit just 1 home run. And I would venture to say the Red Sox are at the bottom of the AL East because of his lack of productivity and lack of staying on the field, among other factors. I'm talking about Roman Anthony stinking up the joint.
Caesar himself.
And yes, Cesar. For all of the rookie cards and acclaim that he had, oh man, he is going to be the next, a Carl Yastrzemski, or he's going to be the next, great Red Sox. And you're like, seems more like a dirty sock than a Red Sox at this point.
We'll settle for Kevin Youkilis at this point.
That's right. That's right. Even David Ortiz in the field might be better.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a rough watch. And again, another guy who, for his 5-tool nature, he's about 4 wrenches short from being 5 tools. And so can't throw the ball in a straight line, can't hit the ball out of the infield. It's just like, so what do we do well? That begs the question.
Yeah. Show up to the ballpark to play baseball. That's a pretty low bar if that's the 6th tool that he does well.
That's the 6th. Yeah, exactly.
All right, shortstop. I got an honorable mention.
Ooh.
I wish I could have chosen Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, he's on we don't want to speak ill of the injured.
Yes, exactly. So the guy who's starting for me and the Rendon Lamones, and it just so happens to be batting 4th. A lot of pop in his bat, and that's about it. Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, my list as well.
Hitting .217, does have 11 home runs. So, he's been hitting the ball hard when he's been making contact.
Right.
He's got 26 RBIs, 20 runs. So basically he's either scoring himself and knocking himself in or nothing, because if he's not hitting one of his 11 home runs, he's probably engaged in one of his 69 strikeouts to this point in the season.
Yeah.
And you're like, my goodness, dude. Like, I feel like, and this is a bigger problem in Baltimore from just my observation. We've got guys who aren't hitting. They're trying to mash the ball. And it's either mash the ball or just look stupid trying to hit the ball.
Yes.
It's never the poster child.
It's never great when your batting average is in the low 2s and your OBP is in the mid 2s.
Yes.
It's a dangerous combination right there for bad productivity.
Yep.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson, I took no argument for me there.
Third base. We're going back out to San Diego.
Yeah, okay.
Manny.
No.
Manny Machado.
No.
Okay.
Don't do Manny dirty like that.
He was not on my list initially, okay? But you're looking at the stats. He's hitting 173 right now.
Yeah, that's a low batting average.
He's got his OBP is 270. Talking about the combination of OBP and average. He's got 32 hits. 18 of them are singles.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, 5 doubles, and I think he's got 7 or 8 home runs. You're like, man, you're getting paid out there in San Diego to do a whole lot more than hit singles. Luis Ariz, he got paid last year to hit singles.
Yes.
You're getting hit to swing the bat. You're getting paid to hit the bat, hit the ball with the bat, send it out of the stadium, pitcher-friendly park or not pitcher-friendly park. So, yeah, Manny Machado hitting 5th on the Rendon Limones.
Can I give you an honorable mention?
Dude, bring it.
In third base, and basically, like, the profiles between this man and Gunnar Henderson are inextinguishable, minus stolen bases. Like, you can't you can't see the difference here. Kazuma Okamoto of the Toronto Blue Jays has 10 home runs on the season. Most of those were hit, it seems like, in the first couple weeks of the season.
In a week, yep.
And he is batting 215. Now 173. But
because of that burst.
Absolutely. And no stolen bases, only 28 RBIs. He's playing every single day, 195 at-bats so far. Like, this guy's, he's going to work every day or not going to work every day. And for a guy who he represents really like the free agent acquisition that was like going to take Toronto from losing in 6 games or 7 games or whatever it was in the World Series to, kind of across the finish line. Not so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kazuma Okamoto.
He was in consideration if he hadn't had that week-long burst where he hit like 8 of his 10 home runs and like Machado, 16 of his 28 RBIs.
Machado hasn't even had that week, and so I totally agree. Just, he's an honorable mention.
All right, second base.
Boy,
again, loaded categories.
How do you choose at second?
We're going to go south. South in Ohio, notably. Matt McLain. He was touted as the other side of a formidable middle infield duo. He and Ellie De La Cruz.
Did you see we're going south to Cincinnati?
South in Ohio to Cincinnati.
Okay, I was like, how far south are we going here?
Mason-Dixon line south.
All the way to Cincinnati.
South of Michigan.
Yes.
Matt McLain hitting a cool 199, and he was hitting worse before he had like a 12 for 20 stretch.
Yes.
51 strikeouts. Listen to this. Slugging 325. Like, bro. Sal Stewart is coming for your job. And, Key Brian Hayes might be taking reps at second. Let's just take a minute. Honorable mention the entire Reds infield at this point. And Sands, Sal Stewart, and Ellie De La Cruz. They can't find brothers at third base and second base that will hit over 200, get on base regularly, and not be atrocious defensively.
Yes.
So, of that crop, Matt McLain, the cream of that crop, he's my second baseman for the Rendon Limones.
The Rendon Limones. I love that.
Yeah. First base, man, the options we could go. This was the closest place that I had to having a Detroit Tiger in the mix. However, there's someone who's getting paid a lot more money than Spencer Torkelson and is putting up Spencer Torkelson-like numbers. Color schemes very similar between the two teams. That's right. We're talking about the blockbuster trade acquisition by the San Francisco Giants last year. Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
This brother.
Is he even a first baseman?
He is. He qualifies as a first baseman, no less. 246 average. Okay, that's decent. He's getting on base. 67 strikeouts. So he's up there with the strikeout totals. He is striking out more than Torkelson. Better batting average than Torkelson. But he's also making like twice as much money as Torkelson. 708 OPS. And you're like, for a first baseman who's getting paid, you'd probably want to see that at least up in the 800s. Am I wrong?
Yes.
I am wrong.
Well, I mean, no, you're not wrong at all. I'm keep going. I'm just having a hard time tracking with you here because I know
I think it's the hat on your head.
The money's a factor, but there's a reason said Spencer Torkelson's not making that money because, well, keep going. Keep going. Make your case.
Their statistical comps are very similar.
They're within about
they're within about 5. They're within about 5 RBIs of each other. They're within about 5 runs of each other, if memory serves me correctly. Like I said, I think Devers hit a few more home runs than Tork has, and his batting average is a little bit higher. But for first base, you would expect his comps to be significantly higher, especially if he's getting paid significantly more. And so that was kind of the deal breaker for me in terms of why I went Devers over Tork. For the money they're making, the value return, I get that Torkelson's value return is next to nothing, but he's also not making a crazy amount of money, having signed a ridiculous extension and gotten traded from his native team to another team because he wants to DH and doesn't want to play first base, only to now be playing first base. And just the defensive aspect of Rafael Devers as well, another point of consideration. I mean, Torkelson is a decent defender at first base. Devers and defense does not have decent in it at all.
Yeah.
So that was the tipper for me. Not trying to pull any punches, not trying to, favor not having a Tiger in my starting 9, but the money that's getting paid to this brother to not do anything significant, that was what tipped the scale for me.
You still got time. You still got time to bring in a Tiger in the bullpen and or at the back end of the bullpen. So there's time there.
Yeah.
However, Spencer Torkelson is statistically one of the worst players in baseball. By the all sacred WAR, he's got one of the lowest WARs for an everyday player in baseball. To Devers' credit, he has about 20 more hits this season than Torkelson has. Batting average is obviously higher. So the NBA, which I don't watch a lot of the NBA, but the NBA has the ridiculous clutch time stat. Like once clutch time hits in the negative, and then last 5 minutes of the game or something, then
it's called the Michael Jordan stat, right?
They give out the clutch award. So last night, my Tigers were inventing ways to lose again, like they do every day, and they're up 5-4, 6-4. I can't remember what it was.
Yep.
6-4, but they had the bases loaded. Nobody out. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And they ended up losing the game 10-6, but they were up 6-4, bases loaded, nobody out. And Torkelson, 1-1, by the way. 1-1. You know what I mean by that? 1-1. Number 1 overall pick, first round.
Yes.
In the 2020 MLB draft. And strikes out, swinging through a ball right down the middle of the plate. End of the game comes up, need to get base runners on, and game's over. At this point, we got a runner on first and 2 outs, and he strikes out middle, takes a fastball right down the pike, right down the middle of the plate, strikes out looking. And you're like, bro, you're a professional baseball player. You are a baseball player. You are living the dream of American young boys all over or not even American, boys all around the world. You are living the dream of what it means to kind of live the life of a successful person. And he shows up with his hair all nice and groomed, like you just walked out of, Supercuts or wherever the heck he gets his haircut, and just looks like an absolute fool on the diamond. Not on the diamond, because you're right, he does have a above average glove in the field. But you don't draft guys 1-1 for their glove. You draft guys 1-1 because they can
mash.
Saddest things I heard this year is his former teammate at Arizona State, Gage Workman, is now on the roster for the Detroit Tigers. And he said in a post-game interview, he's like, oh, man, I've seen Tork hit a lot of home runs in my day. Turns out the home runs you hit at Arizona State don't count as far as resumes for whatever you're trying to build. But Spencer Torkelson will forever be the worst for me, and until he shows otherwise. But I mean, the fact that he's making any money to play baseball should sober him up a little bit and, convince him that, hey, strikes are worth swinging at. So anyway, but Rafi Devers, I see what you did there, and that's fair. So
now we get to the catcher position.
Boy,
There's
yeah,
only
catchers is
10.
tough.
There's only 10 qualified catchers to this point in the season, meaning they've had sufficient plate appearances and games played to qualify for stats. There's others who have played, their backups or whatever. They catch in a platoon.
Realmuto.
Nope, he's not on my list.
Okay.
We're going upper Northwest. We're going to the place of the needle because
the dumper?
The big dumper's not been dumping. The big dumper has been the big backup to this point.
Yeah.
Hitting 161, 18 RBIs. Now, Torkelson has more RBIs than Cal Raleigh. It's just drop that little nugget out there.
Yes.
I believe he's hitting. I believe Raleigh and Torkelson have a similar batting average. And I've seen some throws and defensive miscues from Raleigh that have made me be like, bro, is your head in the game? Like, just what? So anyway,
we'll have a segment on a podcast someday where we'll speculate as to what exactly Raleigh was on last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wish we could see that this sort of, I wish we could have forecasted that this sort of just drop off would have happened this year. And it's like, oh, wait, we did. Anyway, so that's fun.
Right, so now we go to starting pitcher.
Okay.
There is one pitcher in all of baseball who's qualified for stats, who has yet to win a game this year. And that's my guy who's going to be starting, because if we're going to have a team of Rendon Lamones who are just not going to give me a chance to win, I want a pitcher on the mound who to this point in the year has not given me a chance to win. Tanner Bybee is that starting pitcher. He's 1-7, 4.57 earned run average. To this point in the season, as we're recording this,
what's the ERA?
What's the ERA? 4.57.
Dude, you could have done better. You could have done better. You could have done better.
You're right. I could have, but I'm going for. Okay, so he's given up to this point in the season 12 home runs.
Okay,
which is a pretty
big
beefy number.
That is.
And his WHIP is 1.32. Again, could have done better in earned runs and WHIP. I was looking for a guy who has consistently not been giving his team a chance to win. Not had a bad outing or two, but has consistently been bad. And Tanner Bybee was the one that how do the youngsters put it? Blew up my DMs, slid into my DMs, and was like, "Hey,
into my DMs.
Hey, I'd like to start for your team if you're calling yourselves the Rendon Lamones." So he's my starter. When he gives me his 5 innings, I've got 4 guys in the back end of the bullpen that will be sure to make sure that Mr. Bybee does not get a win. Okay, so 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, 4 bullpen guys coming in, sure to give up something so that we don't win. First, we got a pitcher who has switched teams already in the season, and we're not even to like the All-Star break yet. Pause. Honorable mention for a starter.
Not even honorable mention, dude. I don't know how he doesn't. I don't know what your qualifications are for qualified for starts. This guy has one less start than Tanner Bybee.
Okay.
He too is winless.
Okay.
And again, I don't put a lot of stock in the WAR thing. Everybody else does. Bybee, for all of his disasters, still has a positive WAR. This guy, negative 0.8 on the WAR, one of the lowest WARs in baseball. This brother's 0-6. Tanner Bybee, ERA 4.5. This brother, ERA 5.9. And this is none other than Captain Jack himself. Captain Jack Flaherty. The spin doctor himself is spinning absolute garbage on the mound, and he does it day in and day out. Well, there's nothing redeeming about anything he's throwing down these days. And again, has one less start, but his ERA is barking at 6.
Yeah.
6. So I'm like, I mean, Bybee
mission.
0-7 stands out like a sore thumb, but you're just like Jack Flaherty. And again, we want to talk about the money. Let's talk about the money. Jack Flaherty contract. He's on a 2-year deal, making $18 million this year. $18 million. Meanwhile, Tanner Bybee, 5 years
contract, probably
5 years, $48 million. So 9. Just over 9, between 9 and 10. And so you're like, okay,
4 years, $50 million.
5 years, $48 million.
Okay.
So just like 9.5 or something like that. So half of what Jack Flaherty's pulling in.
Yeah, I'm also thinking of like expectations, and like he was in the running, if I remember correctly, for Rookie of the Year.
And Bybee is the horse, like he's one of the horses next to Gavin Williams, which that tells you everything you know about Cleveland. Can Cleveland win a World Series? No, because Gavin Williams and Tanner Bybee are anchoring their rotation. So like that answers that question.
Well, so what this does is it puts us in a prime position for a best out of 3 quick exit in the playoffs.
Yes.
We trot Tanner Bybee out there for game 1, and then, Jack Flaherty out there for game 2. And, when both of those guys get pulled in the 5th or 6th, we've got the following trail of garbage coming out of the bullpen. As I was mentioning previously, bullpen arm who's already with his second team this season. And in this particular instance, Hall of Famer for sure, but just needs to be given the hey, bud, it's time to go out to pasture a notification. Craig Kimbrell. He was with the Mets.
How are all these guys still pitching?
He was with the question. He signed a minor league contract with the Mets, stunk it up for the Mets. They cut him. I saw news the other day. He's coming in the 6th. Yeah. He just got signed with the Rays. And you're like, we give a lot of props to Kevin Cash on this show, and he might be the recipe for disaster for how the Tampa Bay Rays this time in a couple weeks are no longer in first place in the division, because you got a tight race with the Yankees. They're 3 games back. He might cost you 3 games in the division while he's on your squad, just his presence. So, he was with Atlanta at the end of last year, and you're like, dude, you probably should have just ridden off into the sunset. He's still playing. He still qualifies as a reliever at this point. He's coming in the 6th. In the 7th.
Yeah, you want this guy.
Someone who made waves a couple years ago. He was going places, suffered a horrible turn of fate, and Alek Manoah just hasn't been the same guy since.
Boy.
And if you're looking to serve up some BP to the opposing team in the 7th inning to help make sure they can take the lead, he's a great guy to call from the bullpen. As a matter of fact, the Angels don't have one. They have 2 guys from their bullpen that can serve up live BP to the opposing team. Jordan Romano is another guy who has just been terrible. And all that does is if for some reason the Rendon Lamones have a lead going into the 9th, there's none other that I'm going to call for than Will Vest.
He's not. No.
To come in.
Time out. Will Vest must come in to blow it in the 8th. He must come in the 8th to blow it.
All right.
Kenley Jensen must come in the 9th. What better? Like, can you imagine a room of a bullpen? What do they call it? A foxhole, if you will, with Alek Manoah, Craig Kimbrell, and Kenley Jansen. Kenley Jansen, the king of, if I will, it was my 4th walk-off home run in the 9th this season.
Well,
you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, Kenley Jansen. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame. For all that's sacred, please retire. And I don't even blame you, Kenley. I blame Scott Harris. I blame Chris Ilitch for allowing him to spend. Kenley Jansen. I don't know when the last time he like you have to total up like 4 blown saves, but the fact that he's blown 4 blown saves, or he's had blown 4 saves in a month and a half or 2 months is an absolute
crime against humanity.
Stat. Meanwhile, he's making $11 million this year.
Yeah.
That's $1 million a blown save.
Some people are just very good at their job. And at this point in his career, that's probably the thing he's best at. We just need to be more tolerant, Alex. To me, I think Will Vest is the more alarming of the two. Like,
Will Vest
Kenley
is alarming.
Jansen hasn't been great in a while. He's been washed up. Same thing with Kimbrel. Again, both of them need to be shown the pasture gate and just like, hey, just go
Will
ahead,
Vest is
walk through that
terrible.
gate.
Will Vest is terrible.
Will Vest was supposed to be one of the top relievers in baseball. I mean, last year he was pretty rock solid. He had his moments, but all in all, excellent. And this year, you're like, dude, have you forgotten that you put your fingers on the baseball to throw it, and like you should throw it so that it moves places? So yeah, Jordan Romano, Craig Kimbrel, Alek Manoah, Will Vest. There could be others that we threw in this conversation as well, but they're the ones who, when you want to guarantee that your team does not get the win, you call them. Honorable mention to Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals as well. But,
yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
On the other hand, my oh my, have we had a May for Player of the Month candidates. I was looking at some stats yesterday. We've got a 1 month Cy Young race for the ages in the National League and American League. The month of May has been quite kind to the likes of Jacob Mizorowski and Christopher Sanchez.
Yes.
The Miz just hit 100 Ks the other day, and what is 11th start of the season or 12th start of the season. The dude is striking out people left and right, and I loved his quote after the game. I throw hard, it's what I do. And you're just like, yeah, you do. I mean, like, he's talking about trying to hit 105 at some point and just, I throw the ball hard. Like, good, do it until your elbow blows out, because at some point that clock's ticking. And on the other side of things, you've got Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies, who's got right now a 34-inning consecutive scoreless innings pitched streak going. And you're like, my goodness, those two are front-running the Cy Young Award, with Shohei Ohtani having a point or a sub-1 earned run average for games he's pitched in this year. Some excellence going on in the National League.
Well, the little Schlittler in the American League has been fantastic.
And Dylan Cease, those two guys have been going toe to toe in terms of excellence for the games they've started as well. Yeah, Dylan Cease and Cam Schlittler, definitely great high notes to take from our Rendon Lamone segment to considering maybe some games coming up this weekend where maybe some of said lemons might be playing.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a couple compelling matchups. I think it's the first time in a while that now, if this was 2001, 2000, 1999, whatever, this would be a much bigger deal. But Sunday Night Baseball this week actually has a rivalry. Chicago plays St. Louis. That's a pretty big. That's just like for baseball fans. That's just a tasty matchup. You got two kind of storied franchises going at it. It's a big weekend for the NL East, because both of the kind of leaders in the clubhouse have compelling matchups there. Atlanta goes to Cincinnati for 3 games, which Cincinnati, I mean, they can't, they're not, their record won't blow you away, but they just I don't know. They play quality baseball, and they're not going to
outside of Matt McClain. They do.
Outside of Matt McClain, they play pretty good baseball. And then Philly is in Dodger Town. And so that's going to be interesting. Something has to give there. Also interesting to note, Tampa Bay just continues to win. They continue to be unbeatable at the George Steinbrenner complex in Tampa Bay. And so they're at home. They play the Angels, but again, Tampa Bay just keeps, solidly holding on to the division lead in the AL East, which is noteworthy. And then the last one that I'll highlight, just because, again, the one team's been setting the pace in the American League, and the other team continues just to play quality baseball. The Yankees go to Sacramento to play the Athletics. And the Athletics, again, similar, I'll call them the Cincinnati Reds of the American League. They're just kind of hanging around and, are in line for a wild card or something of the sort. And You get the Yankees at home. Who knows what can happen? The Athletics still don't have any pitching, and so it's kind of tough to, figure out what exactly they're going to do there. Could I interest the front office of the Sacramento Athletics to maybe call Scott Harris about the likes of Tarek Skubal?
Ooh.
That would be kind of cool. And nothing would make me happier. And I did prophesy this on the podcast in the offseason. Nothing would make me happier than to see Tarek Skubal make a playoff run while rotting away in Sacramento, a place where he gave up, I think, 8 runs the last time that he was on the bump there. So anyway.
One way to wrap up the podcast today, I went back and looked at our division picks.
Yes.
You've got the touch, my friend, because
do I?
You've either got teams that are up towards the top in 3 of your picks. You've got the Dodgers, which you were just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Yankees, which they're 3 games back. Astros, they're second from the last.
They're not great.
Your other 3 picks are all just at home in last place in their division.
Yes.
Mets, Cubs, Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The curse of your picks is where we're at with that. By the way, as you were talking Phillies, Dodgers, intriguing matchup. It looks like the pitching matchups this weekend are going to be Wheeler for the Phillies, Zach Wheeler, Andrew Painter, and Jesus Luzardo. And against the Dodgers, as a Phillies fan, not feeling so great about the Saturday and Sunday matchups. Friday should be a decent one. It's on Apple TV. Well, Saturday, I feel very nervous. Sunday, Jesus Luzardo, very nervous. So, see how this week works out. Lots of interesting baseball. And we're getting into the summer months. We're getting into the warm temps. We're getting into the time of year when the ball starts flying out of the ballpark even more than it already does.
It starts popping off of Torkelson's bat to second base.
Popping. Mile-high pop-ups to the second baseman.
When Torkelson starts popping out, the rest of the league is starting to get warm. So stay tuned, league. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and as we wait for that next opportunity for Torkelson to hit a home run, when he does, Dan Petrie, no doubt, will be saying,
and his brother Ron,
we're out of here.